because we want to make sure that the kid is perfectly healthy, and if there is an ailment, it comes out the sooner the better. Last year we lost a VidyaGyan student to tuberculosis, and tuberculosis, at least in rural India, is one of the largest killers. And the biggest issue was that the mother was suffering from tuberculosis, and they never told us. So the child contracted it when he or she went back on a summer vacation. The thing is, it's also, spreads. So 2-3 other students, VidyaGyan students, also got it, and they had to be put into isolation. They were okay. And then there's a lot of social stigma attached, because we wanted to treat the child, and the father was estranged from the mother, and he was a bit of a wastrel, and he didn't treat his child. And eventually, when the mother finally called, we took the student to the hospital, but it was too late, and he just wasted away over 2 days and died. So there's been a lot of learning that we've had, that we need to find out, any medical ailment. We've had kids, and I think I understand from the parents' point of view, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So they're also very scared about sharing and letting us know. We discovered like 1 or 2 years down that one of our VidyaGyan students, had used to get fits. I forgot, but he had a fit in the restroom, but luckily his friends were there. But otherwise, he could have passed away, and we would have
been at the school
itself.
At the
school itself. So they tend to hide ailments. So we have to segregate the parents and the students, interview the students one-on-one, try to figure out if there's anything missing, information, what do they need with the parents. So day one is amazing, and now what we've done is we've actually broken it up into 2-3 days, and because people come from different districts, and it's amazing.
And how fast do these children settle down? I mean, the first 10 years of their early education career is in the rural setting, where they, even though they are meritorious, but there is no support system for them.
Yeah.
And now here they come suddenly into a completely new world-class environment.
Yeah.
What's the transition like?
So it was actually the biggest transition was the first batch. After that, the second, third batches and onwards was absolutely okay, because they had seniors to help them settle. But really interesting things, firstly, when the VidyaGyan students come to us, and even this photograph that you see, for even children who are in 6th and 7th grade, because of their underprivileged background, a lot of them are actually severely malnourished, and they're physically really, really small. And the amazing thing that happens is, over 1 year at VidyaGyan, the average weight gain is around 4 kgs, and the average height gain is around 5 centimeters for boys and girls. All of a sudden they start shooting up, they physically fill up, and really interesting things. When the students come to us, they're used to maybe 1 or 2 meals a day. All of a sudden they come to this boarding school where there's milk in the morning, there's mid-morning breakfast, there's lunch, there's mid-evening tea, and then there's dinner, and then there's night milk. Initially, the kids wouldn't eat because they're like, we can't eat. Our stomachs are not used to it, and we have to force them to eat. A lot of them are vegetarian. Actually, all are vegetarian. How do we get them to start eating egg? They need protein. A lot of thought, because that's really going to also help development of the mind. They have a lot of catching up to do with children like me in urban India if they're to compete. Forget about globally. They all used to sleep on the floor because they'd never slept on mattresses. So, we had to force them to sleep on mattresses. Using a Western style toilets. They used to squat on the toilet, and we had to teach them that, you can sit on the toilet or whatever. Girls had never shampooed their hair. And it's really funny because in the first week, not only do we wash all the girls' hair, all of a sudden all the girls get boy cuts. So there's a time where all the boys and girls look identical on campus. So all with short hair, like this army cut crew hair, and now all these children live in these very small homes where there are sometimes 6 or 7, 8 members that live, but they're very used to their mothers giving them hot chapati right off the stove. When they come to VidyaGyan, it's a cafeteria, so we had the automatic chapati machine. They wouldn't eat the chapati because it was not fresh. And it's so we laugh about it, but these are very sensitive issues, and to them, it mattered. It mattered, and then we had, of course, a lot of episodes of students. Like one of the girls hated being in VidyaGyan, and today she's a topper of VidyaGyan. But in the first month that she was in VidyaGyan, one day at night, she decided to run away from VidyaGyan. Her dorm room was on the second floor of the dormitory. She got all the bed sheets together and made a rope.
Wow.
Tied it down from the window, climbed down, okay, and then got caught by a guard. But I'm just saying that look at her entrepreneurial spirit. At the same time, what if she fell? It's amazing. We had 3 students who ran away in the first 1 month of VidyaGyan, and I remember getting a call from the principal in the middle of the night. Says, "Bachche bhag gaye. The kids have run away." I said, how far could they have gone? 2 of them made it back to their villages, which is 80 miles. 1 child made it back to his village, which was 100 miles. And how did they exit the campus? They figured out one window that opens. Part of the campus was under construction, so they figured that is the part of the wall which is not properly constructed. There's a lot of sand and there are a few ladders lying, that the laborers put. In the middle of the night, at 3 o'clock at night, these guys jumped, but the wall is still 20 feet. I mean, talk about the flighty nature of children also from the village, because they climb trees all the time. They had no money in their pocket, but they managed to catch a bus, take a little loan from somebody or whatever, figure it out, and they made it to their village. And all of them are with us.
I think all of them are getting ready to join HCLlites.
Totally.
They're all ready for our GEM program.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that these are some of the anecdotes and some of the experiences that we had in VidyaGyan in the first year, with the first batch. But after that, it settled.
Amazing. I mean, that's really, really amazing, and the entrepreneurial spirit is showing day one.
Yeah.
You've mentioned, and it's there on the brochure also, that the admission rate is tougher than even IITs.
Yeah.
IIT admits 2% or so.
Yeah.
Here it's less than 0.5%.
Yeah.
How do you go through this excruciatingly long process, 6 months every year, and then how do you pick up the gems?
So, Uttar Pradesh has 75 districts. It has 140,000 rural primary schools, which means out of the 200 million population, 5 million children who are supposedly enrolled in primary schools. So actually, at some point, our kitty is the 5 million that we want to target. What we do at VidyaGyan is that the first year at VidyaGyan, we partnered with the Uttar Pradesh government, because we went to them and we said, we're a private organization and we don't have any way of reaching all the villages in the districts. So please help us reach them and help us identify and administer the examination. But the first year they were all very skeptical, and I guess the people were also very skeptical. So to choose our first batch of 200 students, only 10,000 students showed up for the examination. And the examination was, we have 3 criteria. So you have to be a domicile of Uttar Pradesh, which means that you have to show a certificate that says that you've been a resident of Uttar Pradesh at least for 3 years or more. You have to have a family income of $1,700 or below, and you have to be enrolled in a government or private school, semi-private, private school, and studying in grade 5, because we induct VidyaGyan children into grade 6. So these are the 3 criteria that we have. The first year only 10,000 students showed up for the examination, so from that it was easy to select. Let's forward to what happened last year. Last year, we kept thinking that how do we tap the 5 million students, because we're still not there. We in October rolled out advertisements on Doordarshan as well as the radio, and the advertisement was very simple. All it said is, if you think that your child is meritorious and you are rural and underprivileged and you meet this criteria, come for the VidyaGyan examination. And we have a wonderful team of admissions officers, headed by an IS officer himself. He was the Principal Secretary Education of Uttarakhand. And it was amazing because we advertised in October. In December, we closed our registration and we had 250,000 families that registered. So we're still not at the 5 million number, but we got 250,000 families that registered.
This is 10,000 to 250,000.
Yes,
from
2009 to now, 250,000 families that registered on. And then what Mr. Maheshwari, the admissions officer, and the team do is that we actually run a program at HCL Technologies in Delhi, where every year, we ask for volunteers because we need volunteers, not just our teachers and VidyaGyan team, to go to these centers to administer the test. And it's been amazing because this year from HCL Technologies in Delhi, we got 300 volunteers. And some of them have been doing it for the last 3-4 years, so they're experts. And Mr. Maheshwari is amazing because he worked with the district magistrates of each of the districts as well as the Uttar Pradesh government, and we established 800 centers all over the state of Uttar Pradesh. And on February 16th, the first test took place. And out of the 250,000, 140,000 students appeared for the examination. It's also very cold in Uttar Pradesh, so sometimes people register but they don't show up. But what was amazing this time is out of the 140,000, for the first time, 50% of the children who showed up for the examination were girls. That has never happened. That has never happened before. And I think it's because we put this radio advertisement and we opened it up and said, if you think your child is meritorious, I am no one to tell you that your child is meritorious. Don't ask your principal or your local district magistrate. You think your child is meritorious, register and come. 140,000 students sat for the examination. So the first examination takes place at the same time, on the same day, 800 centers, February 16th, and it's a 2-3 hour paper, and it's mostly government schools, the centers. And then all the papers are collected back. We come back to Delhi, all the papers are brought back to Delhi by the different HCL employees and the Shiv Nadar Foundation team. And the papers, the format of the paper is a lot like the SAT. So it's very easy for us to correct because it's all Scantron. Yeah, so it's very easy for us to correct. From the 140,000, we draw up the merit list for boys and we draw up the merit list for girls, and we reduce the number to 6,000. And in the 6,000 also, there's a conscious effort that there will be 3,000 boys and 3,000 girls. Then these 6,000 students are invited to appear for the second examination, which was just now scheduled in May 25th. And the second examination is much tougher because it's bilingual and it's testing cognitive as well as analytical abilities. So, it's not just general knowledge of who is the Prime Minister of India or who is the Chief Minister. It's multiple choice questions, different shapes and asking them, point the odd one out, a few probability questions. So it's really not testing their academics because, there are many people who are good in academics, and then in some districts, if the government schools were not good, then those children would be deemed not good. But at 10 and 11, it's very unfair to put that pressure. So we had to get the paper designed to test cognitive and analytical skills, which shouldn't matter whether you studied your textbook or not. You either logically you have it or you don't have it, And from the 6,000, we narrow down to 600. So
wow.
140,000 to 600.
And over the years that you've been now getting the kids in, have you seen the quality change, improve?
Yeah. So
dramatically?
With each batch, the quality has gotten better. I think that's because the pool has gotten bigger.
Yeah, the reach is bigger.
The reach is bigger. So, my hope is that as each year the pool grows, the number of students and the quality will get better. And more importantly, the quality of girls will get better. There was the first year, VidyaGyan, there were girls who were holding back and not registering. Now we have 50% girls registering. And you know, there's no quota in my head. If there are more meritorious girls than there are boys, then so be it. You know, but we have to allow this system to exist. We have to allow it.
Absolutely. You know, in the mail, Roshni, you also talked about this network effect.
Yeah.
When the kids go back to their hometown or home villages in the rural setting, they talk.
Yeah.
And now with several batches running, have you started seeing the network effect being in play yet, or it's too early?
No, it is there. I'll tell you something really funny. Last year, one of the kids got through the VidyaGyan system, and it's been really funny because by random probability, even his brother got it this year. You know, and we have quite a few siblings. So firstly, that's one sign of the network effect. That means it's impacting the performance at home, and children are striving to be better. And you know, even if the children are unable to get into VidyaGyan, at least their parents are putting them into better schools. You know, are willing to spend that money on boys as well as girls. The other funny thing that's happened is in some of the districts, all of a sudden some VidyaGyan coaching centers have opened up. Okay? This has got nothing to do with us. And the funny thing is, if you go to Flipkart online, you can buy the VidyaGyan coaching books. Like, I was like, no, don't be silly or whatever. And then the principal actually sent me the link on Flipkart that you can buy these books. Now, these books had nothing to do with us. That was the other reason why this year we not only made it a 2-test process, but I also changed the paper, because I was like, you know, these papers are based on their class 5 syllabus. I don't want the class 5 syllabus to be a matter of selection. I want it to be something a lot more objective. You know, but that's also a network effect, and Mr. Nadar is very excited about it. He is very happy. He said it's a good thing. But what's also amazing is that I think every time these children go back to their villages, you know, like I said, whether it's the summer project or whether it's, you know, talking about that they're from VidyaGyan, or even the junior batches and children who've come. I mean, the upliftment that happens is amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you shared some interesting insights on the day one of the students.
Yeah.
Can you give a little insight about the teachers? Something interesting, because this is a new experience for them as well.
Absolutely.
An institution like this has never been built.
Yeah. So firstly, VidyaGyan is fully residential for the teachers as well as the students, and it's mandatory that everybody stay on campus. We select our teachers from all over India, so we put out an advertisement